This video will show you how to replace your rear upper control arm on a Subaru Outback. This will be located behind your rear wheel. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Safely raise and support the rear of the vehicle so the wheel's off the ground. Once you've done that, we're going to continue on to removing all 5 of our 19mm lug nuts. If you have a wheel lock, you want to go ahead and have a wheel lock key. As far as that wheel lock key, go ahead and align it with your wheel lock. We're going to turn this one direction or the other until it feels as though it's seated. Once it does lock in, we can remove that locking lug nut. Let's remove all other lug nuts. Now that we have the wheel out of the way, we have a clear view of our rear upper control arm. Looking at this control arm, we can see that we have our ABS wire leading across it. Now this wire is held in place with a bracket, and the bracket's held in place to the control arm with 2 10mm headed mounting bolts. Remove the pair and remove the bracket with the wire attached. You can hang that aside. A quick note about these bolts, they may be frozen in the control arm. If that's the case, you can go ahead and break them and replace them if necessary. Now we're in the same area. I like to make sure I have plenty of slack from my brake flex hose, especially between the body and the knuckle. Now in this instance, we're going to remove a 12mm bolt holding the brake flex hose bracket in place. We'll move that out of the way, and now we can focus on our pinch bolt, which is holding our upper ball joint to our knuckle. We'll be using a 17mm for our ball joint pinch bolt head. You can see that right here along the front. If you are along the back side of this area, you're going to have a 17mm mounting nut. Let's see if this mounting bolt breaks free. It's common for it to be stuck in place. I'm going to attempt to spin this to break it free. Now you're going to find that the ball joint stud is pressed down inside of the knuckle. It's typically going to be stuck there. We're going to have to separate it. You can use a ball joint separator. You could use a pickle fork. Use whatever's best for you. There we are. Now as you can tell, we do have plenty of slack from our ABS wheel speed sensor wiring harness and our brake flex hose. We're going to continue on to following this control arm to the inboard hardware next. Before we start removing any hardware, just pay quick attention to the height of your control arm. This is the height that we want to have the brand new control arm during the installation process. Now, as far as this hardware is concerned, you're going to find that you have 17mm headed mounting bolts making their way from the inboard side outward. So for the forward bolt, it's from the rearward side and it's making its way towards the forward end here. For the rearward mounting hardware, it's from the forward side and it goes towards the rear. On the opposite side of that mounting bolt, you're going to find that you have a 17mm mounting nut. Now we've broken this side free, let's go ahead and break free the other side mounting hardware as well. When that happens, the control arm will gradually make its way down. Now I've got them both broken free, so I'm holding the mounting nut with my 17mm. I'll start removing that mounting bolt. A thorough inspection of our mounting hardware as we continue on. Let's leave that one in place and we'll move along to the forward bolt. We'll hold on to that control arm as we continue on removing that hardware. Now, if you quickly look at these bolts, you're going to find that the rearward mounting bolt is considerably longer than the forward mounting bolt. Just keep that in mind for the installation process. Remove your control arm from the vehicle. There it is, friend. Now, prior to installation of any brand new part, we need to make sure we clean and inspect our mounting areas. We'll start at the rear subframe. Just go ahead and give this a quick wipe and a close inspection. If it looks like anything's rotted, weak, or damaged, you're going to want to service that area. As you can tell, these are in good condition, so let's continue on to our knuckle next. For cleaning this, of course you can give it a quick wipe, but typically you're not going to make your way inside of the port. Go ahead and use a wire brush if necessary. You can also use a bore brush, whatever's easiest for you. We also have the pinch bolt port. And now we'll just pay attention to our ABS wire bracket, once again just confirming nothing's rotted, weak, or damaged. Now after cleaning all that, continue on to your mounting bolts. We have the two mounting bolts that are for the control arm to the subframe. You can see that I've coated the entire smooth area with anti-seize, and I put blue thread locker on the threaded portion. I also did it for the pinch bolt. This is the bolt that holds the ball joint to the knuckle. Now it's time to install that brand new rear lower control arm. As we bring this into place, you remember we removed the longer bolt from the rearward bushing. If you find you have a hard time getting this in place, you can lightly tap it with a rubber mallet if necessary. The longer bolt, rearward bushing, let's go ahead and start it from the inboard side facing rearward. Let's start on the mounting nut. We are not tightening this yet. Now it's time for the forward mounting bolts. This is the shorter of the two bolts as far as the bushings are concerned. Now look at this control arm. Do you see the way it's hanging? We cannot tighten the hardware with it down like this. That will cause premature damage of your bushings. So obviously we have to make an adjustment. I had mentioned to pay attention to the original height of that control arm during the removal process. Let's make sure we're approximately at that height. You can hold it there by hand or use a small spacer of some sort, whatever's easiest for you. Let's hold the mounting nut with our wrench, and we'll use our 17mm for the bolts. Now I'm going to torque these to 59 foot-pounds. Now we're making our way towards the outboard side of that control arm where the ball joint is located. Let's apply some anti-seize in the port on the knuckle where the ball joint stud will slide into. Just a light coating should do. Continue on to removing your spacer. We're going to make sure that our ABS wire and brake flex hose go over the control arm and ball joint as we bring this down into position, aligning it with the knuckle. If you find you have a hard time lowering the control arm, you could use a prying device. We've got our mounting bolt. We'll just double check to make sure that our brake hose and ABS wire are on the proper side of our control arm. They do not go underneath it. After confirming that, it's time for our mounting nut. Start it on, snug it up, and then I'm going to torque this to 59 foot-pounds as well. Double check to make sure that's properly secured and the ball joint boot is not damaged in any way. Now let's continue along the front side here so we can remount our brake flex hose and our ABS wire. Let's start with that rear brake flex hose. We have our 12mm headed bolt. Use some copper anti-seize, start it in, snug it up. Now it's time for our ABS wire bracket. Once again, I'm using anti-seize on my mounting bolts. For those two 10mm headed bolts, just go ahead and snug those up as well. Let's just double check to make sure everything's properly secured and not twisted. This looks good. Okay friend, we finished the installation of our rear upper control arm. The next thing you have to do is take your vehicle for a road test, listen for any odd noises, and get yourself safely down to your local alignment shop. Thanks for watching. One last quick inspection in this area and we can reinstall our wheel. Let's get our wheel in place. We're going to start on our lug nuts. Let's get the wheel in place. We're going to start on all 5 of our 19mm lug nuts, and of course if you do have that locking lug nut, that as well. Once we have that in position, go ahead and snug them up. We'll get the wheel on the ground. The torque for these will be 90 foot-pounds. Now we've got the wheel back on the ground. We're going to be torquing these in a crisscross manner to that 90 foot-pounds. Torqued.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.